Hi, this is the Eagle's Nest, and I'm your host, Jeff Porcaro, and I'm here today with Maple Mountain athlete Shadrach Christiansen. Shadrach, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what sports you played, what events, and what year you are in school.
So I'm a senior, and this year I did football and track and field. But in previous years, I've done cross country and track and field.
That's great. Thank you. We appreciate you joining us, and
Yeah.
it's
Thanks for
glad
having me.
glad that you got a hold of us. So, what have you been doing with yourself during this time when you've been away from practices and being able to compete?
So without track practice and all, I've been able to do some other, I guess, less formal sports, such as mountain biking, and I have also been able to do a lot of hiking because I live close to a mountain. So walk out the door, across the street, and up a mountain, and then lots of push-ups and core because I don't have my normal weight stuff. So that's what I've been doing. It's pretty fun.
That's great. So it sounds like you've been keeping busy. I know a lot of people spend a little bit of time watching movies with families and stuff. And so one of the questions we've been asking to a few of our athletes is, what is your favorite sports themed movie and why?
Well, a couple other have said these. I really like Remember the Titans, and I also like McFarland USA. So football and the cross country movies. I like both of those quite a bit.
That's great. And those are both really good movies. It's been a while since I've seen either of them. I think I probably need to go dig them out and go watch them again after all of this.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
That's awesome. So, in looking at media and people out there in the world, we've been asking who's your biggest influence in sports, whether it be kind of like a sports hero or something to that effect. Who would that be in your life?
Well, I really like Steve Young. He played for BYU and a couple other teams quite a few years back, and I read his autobiography that he wrote, biography, autobiography, one of those two
Yeah,
that he wrote, and I really enjoyed it. He was quite the athlete, and what I really liked is he had some struggles with a lot of pressure from the media and such, but he was also an excellent athlete, and he got through that pressure and media and stuff, and it was really cool. I really enjoyed his book, and he's pretty cool.
yeah, he was a great athlete and did go through quite a bit through, his early days with the USFL, which folded quickly after its first season, a lot like
Yeah,
what's happened with the XFL and its multiple times of trying to get going. And so he's had to deal with a lot of media scrutiny and other things. So
yeah, for
definitely
sure.
a great person. Um, as you get out and get ready to compete, whether it's, for a cross country event or track event, or whether it's when you're getting ready to play football, what do you kind of do to get into the zone or get prepared so that you can kind of flush out any butterflies that you would have?
Well, I say a little prayer and breathe. That's about it. Um, when we get on to the starting line for track, a couple of my friends and I, we have a little joke going through. It's serious, but everybody else thinks it's a joke. But we kind of jump around and do a lot of breathing and just kind of get in the groove for sprinting, and we really enjoy that.
That's great. And all, it's fun to ask people kind of some of the different things they do. And I would say a good majority of them have come back and said, breathing actually is a good thing. And taking that deep breath and just kind of relaxing really helps kind of calm the spirit for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So you kind of brought up your teammates and some of the stuff you do. What else do you do with your teammates to kind of keep the practices and workouts fun?
Well, when before track got canceled and everything, but also in previous years, I've really enjoyed doing hurdles with my friends and doing the hurdle drills, and then also doing our individual practice before track season starts. And we would watch each other run the hurdles and give tips on forms and take videos. And we were able to improve a lot, and it was super fun. We really enjoyed doing the hurdles together. That was always lots of fun.
That's great. And hurdles are such a technical thing to get down. It's really good because it's not only agility, but it's timing and getting them just right, or else you get off step and you're going down.
You have to eat turf if you're not careful.
Yep, that's for sure. So when did you start your different sports, and when did you decide that that's what you wanted to do when you were in high school?
Well, when I was very young, my dad would take me out running. So that kind of got me started with my cross country and track. And I wasn't very diligent at it during junior high. But in high school, I really enjoyed, last few years, I've really enjoyed cross country and track. And then football. My dad, I've only done football for my senior year, and my dad did football for his senior year. So I figured, why not? I might as well give it a shot. A little bit of a skinnier guy, but it was quite the experience, and that was really fun. So football was very new for me.
That's great. And out of all of those things, which one of those sports did you end up putting the most time into?
Oh, in the end, it's probably cross country and track combined
Okay.
because we'd spend hours after school, like a normal team, just running. And then during the summer, we'd meet every single day, every single morning, and we would go on runs. And we'd average, in my good weeks, we'd average up to 40 to 50 miles a week. So we put a lot of time in for cross country and track both.
Yeah. And that's definitely a lot of miles for sure. And
All
most,
miles.
yeah, most cross country distance runners get that kind of work in. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not like John Jensen there, Mister like 3 marathons a week, but
yeah, no kidding.
used to be out there a little bit.
Yeah, some of these guys are crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what would you say, and as you're thinking back and have had some time to look back at your different sports that you've played and things that you've done in high school, what would you say is your favorite memory from high school athletics?
Well, I would probably say this year during football, did try and the entire season to figure things out, to figure out how to catch the ball, figure out how to tackle. And most of the time, it was not working out. Didn't work. And then in one game, on in kickoff return, we kicked off um, and ran down the field, and the guy with the ball was running up, and I actually tackled him all alone, took him out. That was the best moment, best feeling ever. I loved that. And
That's
so that's
awesome.
probably my best memory.
That's great. And thinking back too, throughout all of the different things that you've done in different places you've played, where would you say is your favorite venue or place that you've actually competed?
Oh, probably on the track. I've very much enjoyed track and field and hurdles, especially. It's been very fun.
Okay. And with the tracks that you've been able to compete at, is there any place like
Oh,
our home field or one of the other tracks or something that you just said this is it, this is cool?
um, not our track. Our track isn't very good. I see what you mean now.
Yeah, yeah.
This year there was an indoor meet up north,
Okay.
and it was an indoor track, and I didn't really like indoor tracks very much, but for some reason that meet clicked, and everything just worked out, and I loved the race, and I loved the track, and that was pretty awesome.
That's great. Yeah, some of those indoor or tracks are so small that
Yeah,
even to do something as small as a 200, you're doing multiple times. So it's
yeah.
definitely a lot of fun. But there are some very cool indoor facilities. Um, so, what are you looking to do when you get out of high school?
Well, I've actually received my call, so mission call,
Hmm.
and I will be leaving for that in a couple months. And then after my mission, back and into school again. What to do back into? I'll be attending BYU. I probably won't be doing any sports for any teams or school, but continue my own stuff on my own as much as possible.
That's great. And one of the things that's nice about track that a lot of people don't realize is that most of the collegiate meets that happen during regular season are open meets. And so you can actually go unattached and still continue to compete if you want to a lot of those meets if
That would
it's
be,
something that you're doing on your own. So
yeah, that would
definitely
be
a lot of
awesome.
fun. A
Yeah,
lot of times compared to other sports, uh, athletes, when they're redshirting, will actually go unattached so that they can continue to compete and work, but aren't really competing for their school because they're redshirting. So it's
yeah,
a common occurrence to see people who have had that opportunity in high school to continue on and be able to still get out and have some fun. So that's very
yeah.
cool. Um, One of the last questions I have for you is, throughout all of this time, you're a senior, you've been around for a while, and I know this season didn't really work out the way that a lot of people had hoped. And, when they first talked about suspension of the season, and then it kind of got to cancellation and, all these other things. We kind of ask a lot of the athletes, what advice would you have, or what words of wisdom would you like to share with the rest of those around you, or those who are following behind, that now that you're kind of leaving this chapter of your life?
Well, it's one I, it's a quote that I would leave it in, and I said it in football a couple times. Um, and it goes, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I would say the road to failure is always paved with good intentions. That's where people seem to trip up, is good intention to get out the door, get up, and oh, get on a run or go lift. And it's always those good intentions, but without action, they don't get you anywhere. So action and carrying through is in the end what really helps.
That's great. That's very good advice, and thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you again for joining us today and being able to give us some of insight into you and your experience in high school.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right. So we've been talking with Shadrach Christiansen from Maple Mountain, an athlete that's been involved in multiple sports, and we've had a great opportunity finding out some more information from him and some great advice. And we want to make sure that everyone takes a little bit of time and follows us and likes us and subscribes to our YouTube channel, our Instagram uh, page, and our Facebook page. They are all Maple Mountain Sports, all one word. And then for our Twitter feed, it is Maple MTN Sports. And we thank you for joining us today. And I am your host, Jeff Porcaro, and this is the Eagle's Nest.